I am in the building. Welcome to the Trucker Brown channel, an array of other channels. I have a very, very, very special guest today. The name of the video is Truth About Trucking Business People. The truth. There's a lot of trucking business people in this sector. A lot. A lot of them say that they're just the trucking business people of the world. There's a lot of them. There's not one. There's a bunch. Here's the truth. A guy hit the scene. Shoot, we're going to have to call it 7 years ago now. A guy hit the scene and dropped a bunch of trucking business. A lot of them are his clients. They won't tell you. They just went from blue collar to knowing how to build Maryland Lynch by themselves. A lot of them. I'm not one here to say who they were. I'm just letting you know a lot of the information you're hearing from a lot of channels, they're regurgitated information. And when people regurgitate information, they don't really know what they're talking about. So TB, bipolar and crazy as he is, out of all the friends I've had for all the years, why is this one still a friend of TB if he's bipolar and crazy? Why? We don't know. Most of my friendships, they end in a car crash. But this one did not. And I'm going to tell you why it did not, because this person believes in the cardinal rule. Don't do drugs. Okay? I can't say you don't drink alcohol. And we're not going to discuss the celibacy. But we will say he's doing what he's supposed to do. This guy, my friend, 4 years, Dean Cole.
What's going on, TB? How you feeling, man? Can you hear me okay?
Man, I'm just, I tell you what my problem is in life, Dean. I am legit just trying to live like you. That's it.
You trying to live like me?
Do you know what I've done? I've been on a Zillow website and I've tried to see what could I afford in San Domingo. If I did it, you know, I'm on the if stage. If I was to do it, how much would it cost?
Well, first of all, for folks that don't know what TB talking about, I live in the Dominican Republic. Right. He always calls it Santo Domingo, which is a city in the Dominican Republic. But I live in Puerto Plata. But you crazy, you're a fool, man.
I thought about it. I said I wouldn't do the Range Rover, but if I lived there, oh my God, I need to be on the water, my guy. I need to be on the water. And I wish you did X-Pac, if I'm saying that correctly.
Yeah.
I wish you did X-Pac videos on the steps, man. That's what I wish you did.
Oh, the steps on how to become an expat?
Yeah, like, you know, how much money you should be getting in from outside businesses a month, what something's going to cost. Watch out, pay people in this, not that, you know.
You know, that's what's up. I'm actually coming up with an online course. It's so crazy you said that. I'm coming up with an online course that's going to teach people how to start a business, how to fund a business, how to start and fund a business as an expat. So people that do want to become expats, I am actually going to teach that. So it's ironic that you say that, because that's what I'm gonna do. Because a lot of times, see, this is the thing. People ask me those type of questions when we're live, and they're like, "How much does this stuff cost? How much does that stuff cost?" And I'm like, "That's like private stuff. Like that's stuff that you like. If you are a mentee of mine, and I'm mentoring you, and I know your heart is in the right place, and I know that you're gonna use the information to better yourself instead of just being nosy or to try to tear me down, I'll answer that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody asked me the other day, it was like, "Dean, is the restaurant turning a profit?" And I'm like, "Of course it's turning a profit." Then he asked a question. He was like, "Well, how much of what you do is off of beer sales?" Because there's this crazy thing going on right now with the beer sales in the Dominican Republic. And so I told him, I said, "Remember, we're in a public forum. I said, but if you want a one-on-one coaching session, I can help you with that. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
Because it's kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? I think because what happened,
business out there.
Exactly. You don't want to put your business out there. And this is the thing. I think with our society, people are so used to fronting and flossing.
Right.
And they think that that's cool. But I come from I'm from the hood. Like that's one of the reasons why you and I are so good friends, because our upbringing is almost the same. You was in Virginia and I was in Atlanta. And I think that's it. But one of the things that I learned is that people with money never brag about money. People who have assets never brag about assets. That's actually a sign that somebody really don't have it. It's tacky. And the thing, what'll happen is that people will. It's funny because people are like, "Oh, Dean, you so flashy, you always showing off," and I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm just living my life. It just is what it is.
Just better than yours."
I'm just saying, it just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody, "Oh, Dean, you trying to show off? Look at you. You and you like." All of my businesses got my signature on them. You dig what I'm saying? That's just, I'm not trying to show off. It just, it is what it is. That's just how we do business around here. That's just what we do.
That's a smart move. That's dope. I can't hate on the gold writing pen and dropping. that's I can't hate on that. But this is my thing because we're in the speech phase of this, and when everybody gets in, we're gonna get into some real hardcore stuff. And Dean says he wants to do the calling publicly. He wants to call in publicly. So y'all know the price to call in. $20 to call in to try to keep out the BS. Make sure your name matches, or you won't get in. Nobody gets you can't talk to the big dog for free. It's not about to happen. Now listen to what I'm telling you. Most people, we prefer to, call in through the Patreon, but Dean says, no, let's do it public. Let anybody call in. Now, this is what I'm going to warn the subs. Don't call in with no reckless stuff with Dean, because he will preach you under the table, and I ain't gonna. So don't get him to start talking that truth to power speech, and then now you're in a bad situation. So I don't want you to be in that situation. This is the thing that I would say. When you're telling somebody what they would need, it wouldn't have to be what you did. It will be, hey man, make sure you're at least bringing in 3,500 in American. Exactly. For your lifestyle, because everybody doesn't need, samurai swords and stuff in the office. Everybody doesn't need that. Some people, they just want a nice little condo and they're just good.
Exactly. And that's that's the thing about it too. Like, it's kind of like so many people nowadays, they say they want to be professionals, or they say they're a professional business coach, or they say they're a professional life coach. But what happens is that whenever you go to a doctor that's a professional doctor that's been trained, or you go to an attorney that has their degrees, one of the first things is you have to do a consultation, or you have to do an intake, so you'll know specifically what it is tailored for you. So like that's one of the number one signs that people are just trying to pretend, is like people say, well, what's the best? Or people say this is the best thing, or like it's a universal thing. It's not universal. Like I'm 6'4". I'm 300 pounds. You dig what I'm saying? So the type of prescription that I'm going to get isn't the same type of prescription that a 5'8", 125-year-old woman is going to get. So everything is specifically tailored to you. And that's what it's like when you're doing business coaching and you're doing business funding and you're doing different things like that. So that being said, if somebody is talking to me, I'm not just barbershop talking. Whenever I come on this thing, I don't barbershop talk. I'm telling you specifically what it is based on your situation and your circumstance. Like I don't quote unquote shoot the shit. I don't talk in hypotheticals. I give you specific game plan on what you want to do or what you need to do. So, and that's the thing. So that I say all of that to say that, like yesterday, you and we were live, and I was at the restaurant, and a female friend of mine came up. And I heard you guys talking like, man, Dean setting everybody up, man. Like, that's the setup. Like, she just happened to come see me and she was so upset that I could not spend time with her, bro. I did not finish hearing the end of that. Even to this one, she was so upset. She said, "You're too busy for me. This, that, and the third. We'll do. And now, but I went back and I listened to the live, and somebody was like, man, I can't go out there, man. I can't do that because that's just my type so much I get in trouble, this and the third. But I said, I said all of that to say that just kind of happens to be kind of how my lifestyle works.
Yeah, yours may not feel that way.
That I'm gonna coach somebody or tell somebody that maybe that's the type of person that they should be with, because it's all subjective. Ain't that what's that what they call it?
Yeah, it's all relative. It's all subjective.
It's all relative. That's what it is. All relative.
You may go out there and just like the beach. That could be your thing. Because I know if I'm a different person. See, this is my thing about what's going on in the industry now. Here, it cannot be any nuance. People can't be different, because like me and you live completely two different lifestyles. I am a practiced minimalist. I literally practice it all the time.
I remember you told me that you was gonna get a boat. Was it not a Volkswagen? A Beetle? Not a Beetle. What's the name of that thing?
A Honda SI. It was a Honda SI.
No, not that. The thing where you live in and travel around the world in. What's the name?
Yeah, the trailer. Yeah.
Yes, and live off of that. And I was like, well, if that makes you happy, do it. But when I got off the phone, I was like, this Negro is crazy.
You know what I found out about that lifestyle? It's more expensive. They've made it more expensive than just living regular. It's
a minimalist life, man.
So I'm minimalist in the way like I'm minimal furniture. I'm minimal clothes. I've made a 10, 15-year commitment to my cars. I'm minimalist in a different way. You may not be. But what I don't like about what it is that I remember the trucking community before you got to it. And now trucking community is about everybody's a business mogul. And I never understood how everybody became a business mogul, but they never tell you how they learned it. Who did they learn it from? And it's like, if you go back into the day, and then some of them are got direct counsel from you. We won't say no names. That's business. We're not gonna talk about that. What I'm saying,
I don't, unless somebody's giving me their consent. I don't release. And I wouldn't. My client patient confidentiality.
I wouldn't want you to do that, because some of them are not even. They're not even your counsel, but they watch the videos, and then
they not only do they watch the videos. See, this is something I discovered that I found out. A lot of them will watch my videos because I teach. I just love to teach. That's how I end up doing this, is because of me just teaching, so that I can get clients approved for funding. Right. Oh man, hold on for a second. My camera just acted up. Hold on, I got to change my camera direction.
Right.
Give me a second. One of my cameras just acted up, and then we're gonna I'm gonna fix that and then come back. But yeah, so what happened was I just love to teach. Hold on, studio mode. Bam, there we go. So I just love to teach, and so because I just love to teach, I was teaching, and I was teaching live on Facebook, and that's how I ended up finding you. And then what happened was you said, Dean, you should start doing YouTube or whatever. And I was like, man, I'm too old to be doing YouTube. YouTube is for 18-year-old girls, not in a bad way. I just thought that don't nobody want to hear about financing, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. But because I used to love listening to and watching the Hodge twins. Right. You know what I'm saying? I used to love listening to and watching the Hodge twins do what they do. And I felt like, but they're in the fitness community, but I didn't feel like finance or business was something that people were interested in. So nevertheless, because of you encouraged me and you taught me a lot of this stuff that we're doing, like that I'm doing right now. Mm-hmm. You taught that to me. And I said all of that to say that, so when I came along, I'm back now. So let's switch. Bam, I'm back. All right. So when you came along, go back to where I was so I can see everything. Okay. So when you came along, you encouraged me to start doing YouTube videos and teaching in the YouTube space. And because I had a lot of clients that were truckers, Like, for instance, I mean, everybody knows that Chasing Andrew Jackson was a client of mine too. He's been very vocal about it, like you've been very vocal about it. Like you, Chasing Andrew Jackson, LoSean has been vocal about it too. So I'll say LoSean, that you guys were actually clients of mine before I started doing YouTube. Right. And so that's when I started to do, you know, the whole entire process of teaching about business funding and business credit. So this is what I said. So I said all of that to say that I like teaching for free. So what I discovered is that a lot of them will watch a lot of the free content and get as far as they can. And then they will end up booking like a one-on-one session with me. They won't sign up for my courses, but they would get as far as they can. And they say, oh, D, I've been watching you for years. I've been watching you for 2 years. And this will be our first session. And they say, well, I need to get to that next level. How do I do so? But on the hindsight, like, I don't want to say this person's name. But hindsight being 2020, that I would go back and watch them on YouTube, and they would be teaching, like you said, as if they were these big moguls. Right. And then they end up coming to me to get, you know, to get the secret stuff, the secret sauce or whatever that I provide in a protected, intimate setting. Because as a business consultant, as a business coach, you know, we're bound by the words that we say. So like we can't say something, because what happened is that we have the E&O insurance, and people they can try to sue you and get at you for all of that type of stuff. So that's the reason how come we have to be deliberate about some of the stuff that we say and how we say the things that we say.
So you're a legit business coach. You just can't say anything you want.
Yeah, not when I'm in a public, not in public forums now. No, I can't.
So,
and that's the reason why all of my videos and all of my answers are so long-winded, because I got to give you detailed, specific stuff. Because if I give you half stuff and you run around half cocked, you could be like, Dean said, and then they end up messing stuff up for me. You see what I mean?
So we're gonna start with the remedial stuff first that you've kind of already said in passing on other shows and everything like that. But I'm gonna put it in words that match the people just getting in. A guy, he goes to a company, he's working, and we'll just use it in broad company strokes, not even trucking. This company says, listen, you have an opportunity to be your own business. We do know that FedEx, Amazon, you know, you can own your own vans, or you can go through regular trucking routes and own your own tractor and all that stuff. So you get to the point where, all right, they want to make money as to get their own equipment, whatever that may be, in whatever industry that may be, and they want to get their own business account. They want to get, you know, they're now they're at the point where they're deciding, am I going to be a sole proprietor, a LLC, or they've watched some videos, so everybody thinks they should be an S corp.
Yeah.
So this new person who's never had coaching, never thought of being a business person before, they're trying to figure out, should I be a LLC, sole proprietor, S corp, and how? What is your general understanding of that without them actually calling in to get coaching with you? What should they be thinking?
My advice is, so a LLC stands for limited liability company. And so because a lot of the four-wheelers, a lot of folks don't know how to drive, they're trying to focus on Starbucks, they're trying to check their TikTok, and trucking is one of the most highest risk industries there is. So because of that, a LLC is the best for asset protection and protecting your assets when it comes to the day-to-day task of trucking or transportation. An incorporation or S corporation is good when you're wanting to scale. So depending on what your goal is. So somebody that just wants to be an owner operator, they don't want to be a fleet owner. They don't want to be a mega carrier. Their job, they just want to stop working for somebody else and work for themselves and be an owner op, or be an independent contractor, or get their own authority. Those type of people, that's an LLC. If you want to do an INC, that's good when you have business partners. If you have more than one person going in and you have multiple trucks that you guys are pooling together, and or your idea is to be a mega carrier, or your idea is to grow to be a big brokerage, like it be a freight brokerage or whatnot, then an INC and an S corp would be good for you. That's what.
Real quick. So then why is most of the fake fake understanding people telling one truck only operations to be S corps.
S corps, because with the S corps you get the best tax shelters. So when you get as an S corporation tax, you get the best tax shelters when it comes to not being quote unquote double taxed. But the real reality of the situation is rich people, we don't pay taxes. I mean, it's like when you build your business the right way, like when you do it the proper way. That's the reason why Donald Trump didn't want to show what his taxes is because you don't pay taxes. So that's the reason why people are saying S corporation, because it gives you the best tax shelter. But
if you know what you're doing,
if you know what you're doing, and if there's a need for it. But if you're like, for instance, like prime example, I talked to a guy yesterday on your channel, and he was asking me a question about taxes. But he's not an owner at all. He's just a regular guy. He's a company driver. He said that he doesn't own his own business. He said he was thinking that he might want it to, but he's just a company driver, and he was having questions about taxes. And so my advice to him was to get as many deductions as possible to itemize so that you can have all of your money. Because thinking about being taxed as a company or corporation is kind of like thinking about, I wonder what Oprah does when she does her monthly budget. Oprah is a billionaire. Why would I think about what Oprah does on her monthly budget when I'm making $30,000 a year and I'm just maintaining me, my wife, and my 2 kids? You see what I'm saying?
That's because everybody watched the prosperity preaching, and everybody says you got to believe you're gonna be a billionaire, and they're thinking that way. Like you got to think like a millionaire to become a millionaire. That's the thought.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that does have its place, but you have to use practicality of it. You want to think like a millionaire, as in the ideas of nothing is impossible to you, in the ideas of the work ethic, but not in the fantasy, because you'll get caught up in that fantasy life. Like it irritates. Like when I was a loan officer and I was in the office, it used to irritate the black off my back when I would have somebody come to my office, sit down, book an hour with me, and waste my time talking about a $300,000 house, and their credit scores are 480, and they work at Kroger. They said, well, my pastor said I need to name it and claim it and believe I receive. Now you do that with somebody else. You ain't gonna come in here and waste my time and irritate the black off my back, and you got a 480 credit score and you work at Kroger and you make it $13 an hour. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. But you're not gonna get no $350,000 house. We're gonna give you something that's 75 to 125, and you're gonna be comfortable.
He said, name it and claim it.
Name it and claim it. That's it.
So you don't
name it and claim
it. I mean, Jesus Christ. But I mean, the fact that has its place for some people, they really believe like that's the way to do it. Me, I'm more of a realist. I just like to and I like to live far under my means. I don't believe in living over my means. So I'm not going to come in and be like, oh, give me a $2 million house. Even though, Navy Federal's like, you could do a $1 million house. And I'm like, yeah, don't call back. But it's one of those things that if they don't have the understanding of the structure, the base structure, like when I talk to these people, they don't understand how to get a business account. And I keep telling them, why are you coming to me about business structure? Well, you have one. I do, but am I the appropriate person to tell you how to get a business account? And it's another question I asked them too. Do you know why you need a business account? Mm-hmm. And they say, well, I got a business. That ain't the only, like, dude, you're asking me to help you get something. A, I'm not qualified to be telling you how to get. And B, you don't even know why you want the business account. You just, it says business on it.
Yeah.
Why do they need a business account? Why can't they just do everything out of their personal account?
That's a very good question. So the reason, one, when it comes to getting funding, you can be an owner operator. You can have a LLC, an INC, or even the coveted S corporation. But if you putting everything into your personal account, you don't have any business income. You only have personal income, and you cannot get business funding. And it's going to be dang near impossible for you to get equipment funding and to get a business loan. So the reason why you need a business account is because you need to show, because also two things. So one, businesses, we get taxed off of our net income, and things are underwritten based off of our net income, whereas on a personal, it's based off of your gross income. So because of your net income versus your gross income, because of working capital and cash flow, that's the reason why you need to have two separate accounts, because it's going to be able to break it down. Because if you have all your funds deposited into your personal account, all of that is going to look as if it's personal income, and it's when you have business expense. And so by everything being deposited into your business account, then everything is broken up, because you have your business expenses, and then you also have your net income at the end of your business expenses. So now when you are in business, granted, you are able to say, well, my new watch is a business expense if you know how to do it the right way, or me going on this vacation is a business expense if you know how to do it the right way. Because that's what wealthy people do. Wealthy people, what they'll do is they'll give the money away, or they will either invest the money into making their business better before they pay taxes on it. Like if I have to, like you had, like, I don't know if you've ever heard, who was it that said that, like, when Diddy was getting into it back and forth with the Locks, and he was, I don't want to say the word. He was like, man, you're a business write-off to me. Like, you ain't nothing, you ain't nobody, you just a business write-off. Because the dude was like, man, you signed me, I'm popping, I'm this, I'm that. And he gave him $1 million advance. He was like, you just a business write-off to me. So instead of looking at that $1 million as a potential asset or potential income for the business, Diddy just gave it to another business as a business write-off. And that's how he was able to kind of leverage his income or whatever. I know I'm talking
no.
Circles a little bit, but does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. So yeah, basically, he just moved the book. So if he would have had to get it to Uncle Sam anyway.
Exactly. So he legally did it. So you can legally set yourself up to where you don't have to pay as much. Like, prime example, if your wife or your daughter needs a car, and let's say for instance, you made $300,000 in the trucking industry, right? You make $300,000 a year in the trucking industry, and let's say now you have a tax bill of $20,000 or $30,000, right?
Right.
Your wife needs a car, your daughter needs a car, and then you also, if you don't do it right, you're gonna have this tax bill for $30,000. What you could do is then turn around and get a company car, and that company car, now for $30,000, that new piece of equipment, not only will that eat up that tax bill, you also are able to get depreciation on that liability, not an asset. And then if your daughter needs to, you can quote unquote get a teacher that you have to pay to teach them how to drive that vehicle, and or your daughter or your wife to teach them how to drive that vehicle, and legally on paper you'll be fine, and it eats up the tax bill. And then you also have a new vehicle that your wife or your daughter have access to because they work for the company part-time.
So that's how you see the little girl at college that has like a convertible
Benz or Beamer. Yep, that's the way it. If they daddy like me, and most people, like I was in some villas, lifestyle villas the week before last. I was in a business meeting, and this young lady, she was like, yeah, my dad told me, and she was an African-American woman. And she was like, yeah, my dad told me, yeah, go ahead, take the black card, fly out to the DR, stay in the villa, give the kids everything they want. No problem. And she said, my dad just gives me what I want. I got him wrapped around my finger. Ha, ha, ha. I said, no, sweetheart. He just finessed you because you just took away a lot of his. I said, one, you just gave him some more air miles. and you just probably ate up a tax credit that he needed to pay anyway. So he basically got you working for him because she was trying to talk down against her father. And I don't understand why African-American women love to try to talk down against African-American men. But nevertheless, I just kind of explained to her that
you helped him out.
You helped him out
because he didn't have the time to take the trip.
Exactly. He did, and he just and instead of having to pay the $7,000 or $8,000 in taxes, might as well make his grandkids happy, because it's definitely not making your ungrateful self happy. What I thought in my mind, but you know.
There you go. That was a quick African American shot. But what I will say, I understand how that goes, but then they get to the point where they do want to expand. They want to get to the point where they want to expand. They want to get to the point where they want to get out of the seat to a point where they're just sitting at a desk delegating. So it's like, okay, now that's buying equipment. That's dealing with payroll. Another thing I would like you to speak on here is the PPA loans.
Yes, sir. A lot of people are getting in trouble with those.
Apparently, a few truckers have been getting in trouble with it.
Yes.
My thing, I have an understanding of it, but maybe you can kind of break it down to the umpteenth degree.
I definitely will.
If they gave, yeah, go ahead.
First, we have 107 people watching and only 21 thumbs up on your Trucker Brown channel. So once we get at least 70 thumbs up, I'll answer that question.
Dun dun.
Because y'all tripping. Like, y'all not gonna get no type of game. You know, this type of game on your New Regime ENT. We have 6 thumbs up and 15 people watching. So let's get at least 15 thumbs up on there, because I know all those people are trilled. They're not trolls like they are on your main channel. So let's get that up. You know, we're looking at analytics. They said we're business people over here. You did what I'm saying? At all times, we looking at analytics. So once we get that done, then I'll answer that question about PPP. And while we wait for that, hold on for a moment. Tia, por favor, dame uno más café y sandía. ¿Tiene más sandía en la nevera?
Comprende, más café es coffee. No, poquito.
Sí, es más sandía en la nevera. Por favor, y más cappuccino también, por favor. Muchas gracias. All right, so let's look at these analytics. And let's see. We get these analytics up, I answer the questions about that. Hold on for a second, because y'all not going to do TV like that.
Listen, I get done so dirty, bro. Everybody, it's like everybody hates me for some reason. I don't know what.
We got 47. Okay, we got 47. Okay, that's half. Okay, so we got half of the people that's watching that's hating watching, and the other half of people that are actually participating. Okay, so we'll do. So the PPP loan stood for a payroll protection loan. So basically, it was a payroll protection. And what happened is, it was I don't know. So you remember before, when I first started, I always talked about underwriting guidelines. Like, there's a difference between stated income and verified income, like stated assets and verified assets, right? And so Donald Trump, being the businessman that he is, he's made millions and billions of dollars off of stated loans. Stated loans allow you to legally project, and it's basically, it allows you to use your imagination based on what your projected income would be. Once your credit score is a certain amount, it allows you to project income and project what you have your earning potential to be legally when you get a loan where those are the criteria. Well, so the PPP loan adopted some of that methodology because there were so many people that needed help and so many people that needed loans. What happened was they allowed people to state on the documentation exactly how many employees they had, and to state the size of their business, not verify it, but state it. But because this was a government-backed loan, they were going to come back around to do the verification. So what happened was, unfortunately, so many people, they overstated how many trucks they had, overstated how many employees they had, overstated their income. And what happened was that some of them got too greedy and they did not have a plan for it. And then what they did was they got the loans, and then they used it for personal things. Now, the real catch is legally what they could have done legally was to hire a consultant or hire another company. Maybe they own that company or not. Maybe they could have hired another entity and paid that company those funds so that legally the PPP statute was met. But that third company that maybe they owned or maybe they didn't own now had cash to do what they wanted to do with. But because they don't understand business structure, they don't understand banking and finance and loans, they didn't have anybody to guide them the right way to do it. Notice, not one of my clients, and you will not see one of my clients ever come and say that they got in trouble with the PPP loan, because we made sure that all T's was crossed, all I's was dotted. And if they did liquefy, I just use that word, if they did liquefy that PPP loan,
right,
they did it in a way to where it was legal and they were protected. So that's the problem. So you get people that'll get a PPP loan and they're supposed to be using it for company equipment, and they getting brand new Rolexes. So they get $1 million loan and they get a Lamborghini, and they say that this is company, like this is Kay Michelle's husband, who owns a trucking company, was the first one. And I actually was going to do a video about it. And he got a Lamborghini and he got Rolexes, and he tried to say that it was business expenses, which he could have, but it should have been, he should have hired his consulting company or his production company and did it that way to where it was, but you know, I digress.
So the windfall during the coronavirus was really the loan. When you say the windfall, I mean the windfall of money that we've seen, like during the coronavirus, there was a lot of windfall. Everybody was
yes for businesses. Yeah, we're getting the PPP loan. And so another thing too. So there were multiple different ones. So there's the PPP loan, and then there was also the grant, because with the grant gave people $10,000 automatically up front, whether they qualified for it or not. So hold on for a moment. It was the disaster loan. So let me give the exact name, because I've been hold on for a second. I'm gonna tell you the exact name for it because my carbs are low right now. You see, I'm eating watermelon and drinking coffee, so I can't. The PPL grant and the EIDL, the PPP loan and the EIDL grant. There it is. The EIDL grant is the one that was the best thing that most people should have did that were in business, because the EIDL grant, what they did was, say for instance, you applied for $200,000, they were going to give you $10,000 off the rip if you were in a geographic location that was affected, and most cities were affected. So you had like a 99.9% chance of getting that approved. And so with also with the EIDL loan and the PPP, with the EIDL loan, like I said, you was going to get $10,000 up front, and then they were going to underwrite you to see if you needed more assets. And the EIDL had a lot more liberal guidelines, so you could argue a lot more things to be considered business expenses, like most businesses do, without getting into trouble like that. What does that comment say? My bad. Let's see if I can make the screen bigger so I can see what that comment says. Oh no, for a second. What does that say?
Which screen?
The one on the screen. It says, "Oh, Dean don't know. The wave is is he supposed to give this info up for free?"
He's supposed to help the trucking community. Suppose is a broken word's favorite word. That's my old lady. Hold on one second. We have someone in the queue who was one of the main benefactors behind getting the stream up to 1080/60 and the actual new gaming computer build. I'm assuming Trevor has a question. So let's see what my boy Trevor has to say. Trevor.
What's up, Trevor? How you feeling about?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going all right. Do you have
doing good? How you doing?
You have a legit question for Dean?
Yes.
What is it?
But I started my first business beginning of this year, and I'm writing up business plans for my other 3 that I want to launch in the next 2 years. Forming those, should I do like one umbrella and put all the businesses underneath that umbrella, or just keep them totally separate? And if so, how do I do that?
That's a very good question. So tell me, what are all 3 of them? You said 3 businesses?
He went out. He said he just started his first business this year, and then he's trying to start 2 other businesses, and he wants to know, should they all be separate or all together?
Well, first they all have to be separate. So each individual business needs its own EIN number, and the EIN number stands for an employee identification number. That's free. You get that from irs.gov. So tomorrow, he can't do it now because it's today Saturday or Sunday? Today Saturday. Okay, so he can't do it now because it's Saturday, but Monday morning after 9 a.m., he can go to irs.gov, and it'll literally take him 5 minutes per business. So for 5 minutes, just fill out the information and get his EIN number for business number 2, then get his EIN number for business number 3. Then after he does that, then he wants to go to the Secretary of State, and then he wants to either be an LLC, an INC, an S Corp, or C Corp, and he wants to set up each individual corporation separately. The reason why you want to separate. The reason why you want to do them separate is because 2 reasons. The first reason, let's talk about funding. If you set it up separately for funding, it makes it more powerful for you, because let's say, for instance, you get a $10,000 Visa corporate card. So now that you have 3 businesses, you're still controlling it. And once you meet the underwriting criteria for one, you could do the same thing for the other. And now that 10 is now 30 because it's times 3. So that allows you to create more funding and create more leverage for the business. That's thing number 1. And then thing number 2 is it protects you for assets. So God forbid, let's say, for instance, if somebody wants to sue you, or God forbid, say, for instance, you get into an accident and you have to go through court, there's something that's called charging orders. And so when you have every business under one entity and you have a corporate umbrella, every business underneath that business is now subject to charging orders. And so God forbid, let's say if you were found guilty because this judge happens to not like guys with beards, and you got a beard when you went to court that day, and now you have to pay restitution. What'll happen is that any attorney worth their weight in salt is going to give you charging orders to all of your businesses and try to take assets from everything else. So let's say, for instance, hypothetically speaking, you were a watermelon farmer. And off of the watermelon farm, you made $10 million. But then you have a trucking company that you use to transport your watermelons. Now, the judge is going to award the person based on the watermelon farm and the trucking company instead of just the trucking company, because it's under an umbrella. But if you set them up separately, individually, you're protected. So that means that the trucking company has to deal with it, but the watermelon and the watermelon farm and then the coffee brewing company are all separate. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense to me. Hold on. He got cut off here real quick. Trevor, did you hear? You heard that, right?
No, but I can listen to it on the replay.
Yeah. Listen to it. I appreciate you for calling in, and he basically explained to you how you supposed to. He said you had to do it separately, not all in one.
Yeah, the thing that's going to protect you is to do it separately.
All right.
The only time it's good to put everything under a corporate umbrella is if you have millions of dollars and you're trying to find as many ways possible to get rid of tax burdens. And that's the reason why most people do that. You can also do that later on in life. You can form a company umbrella when you're more successful later on. That's the best time to do that. If you ever get to the point to where, all right, you have $10 million coming in, and now you need to worry about paying $1 million in taxes. If that's the case, then it's beneficial for you to have a corporate umbrella and then just pay all the bills under the corporate umbrella and eat up that tax debt. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
But starting out, it's not worth it. It's not worth the headache starting out. And it's something you can always do later on. You can always add a corporate, just like for instance, you don't need an umbrella unless it's raining. So unless it's raining, you don't need an umbrella. It's all, you can always go and get an umbrella. It doesn't make sense to have the burden of walking around with an umbrella on you all the time and it's not raining.
What is the way that a few people have asked, 18 Tails have asked, how do they sign up for your, is that Jell-O?
No, this is watermelon.
Oh, okay. Excuse me. How do they sign up for the class? Trevor, if you have another question, you hit that private chat. You know how to do it.
The best thing for them to do is to go to deancocoaching.com.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, I can get a link. So that way they can
private chat.
Yeah, it's startup coaching. Hold on for a second. Let me just go, because I have multiple different coaching courses.
Now, while you're doing that, so the age-old lie is that I can take my business loan and get a Bentley. That's not true.
Yes and no. Yes, it's true that you can do it. No, it's not true if you don't do it the right way. It's just like this. It's just like saying, let me see, how can I make it to where it can make sense? Private, okay. It's just like saying, oh, I get to have sexual relations with this beautiful woman all I want to, but she has to give you consent to do it. If she don't give you consent, you done broke the law.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? So that being said, yes, you're able to do it, but you have to make sure you do it in a way to where to do it legally. So the problem is that people were doing it. So with the PPP loan, okay, let me give an example. Okay, the PPP, if they would have got the EIDL loan, yes, but they were doing it with the PPP loan, no. So like for instance, FHA stands for Federal Housing Administration. You can only get an FHA loan to buy a house. You cannot get an FHA loan and then live. You can't get an FHA loan and then go buy a boat. You see what I'm saying? So the PPP loan was used for taking care of payroll. That's why it was called the payroll protection. So it's for payroll protection. And what people were doing is, because it was the fastest one and the easiest one, people are getting that and they're misappropriating those funds. But if you were to get it, like I said, the EIDL loan, that took a little bit more time, and you are able to be a lot more creative with what was considered a business expense. Prime example. That's the reason why whenever I teach a client who's starting a new business, don't put yourself as a trucking business. Unless you're getting your own authority, do not set yourself up as a trucking business. Do not set yourself up. Don't put trucking or transportation in the niche, because banks and institutions are going to look at you as, what you need that for? Because you're a trucking industry. But let's say, for instance, if you're like Sean Brown Enterprises can use a Bentley for whatever they want to use it for. But then now, if you're Sean Brown Trucking, okay, what you need a Bentley for if you're a trucking company?
I gotta haul the people from the terminal to the truck.
Okay. Yeah. So then they're gonna look at you. Okay, you needed the Bentley to do that. That's going to start to raise flags. But what you want to do is you want to make it to where you don't raise flags. But then what happens is this: if that is the case, then what they're going to do is they're going to look at all your other assets, and then they're going to look to see if you ever use that for quote unquote personal use. And that's when you get yourself into trouble. You don't want them to the more questions they ask, the worse it is when it comes to getting funding. Especially when we're talking about something that's backed by the government. When we're talking about something that's backed by the government, then that's definitely bad, because the more questions they ask, You know how it is with the cops,
Right.
with them folks.
That's true. That it's all set up for you to be.
Everything can be used against you.
Now,
okay.
I think your business prowess is legit scaring people because only Trevor called in, and everybody else saying the information is great, but they don't want to. I guess they don't want to spar. They feel like it is sparring. They don't feel like they want to.
No, it's not sparring. No, but this one said like anybody. Look, make it free. Make it free. Anybody want to call in and ask me anything? They ain't got to pay $20. They want to talk to me about anything. Let's make it free. Let's just do that. Let's just do that.
Bought the room out. The room is bought out. The bar is bought. If you just want to call in, just call.
All right, TV. And also, people are used to begging for what they want. I mean, begging for what they need and paying for things that they want. They don't. It's not the other way around.
How fast that happened? Alex Smith. What's the number? Right after you say it's free.
See that? See, what's the number? Instead of it's all right, I just sent it to you in IG. That's the actual link that'll go directly to the startup culture. Because I have so many different courses on my website under products and whatnot. It makes it easier just to go directly to each one. So it's a long one, but if you just go to deancolecoaching.com, just copy and paste it. It'll take you straight up to the startup culture. It'll teach people how to go through. And
now y'all need to take this time to be smart because Dean sent in y'all know the price to buy out the room is $400. Dean spent this money to coach you. So this is your moment to call in, butt naked and free. There's the link to call in and ask Dean a question. Y'all not gonna be on here with him for 2 hours at a time. So get your question out quick and concise and say what you need to say. Don't waste the time. Just ask the question straight directly. My boy right here, Gold Phoenix. Do you have a question for Dean Cole in business?
Yes, I do actually. What's up, Dean? How you doing today?
I'm winning. Phoenix, how you feeling, my man?
I'm doing magnificent as always. My question actually has to do with payroll. I'm a lease operator. I run under an LLC. And basically what I have been doing, since I've been doing it, I have like the business account, I have the personal account, and I'll transfer a little bit of money, just enough to pay my personal bills, to my personal account. But what I don't know is if I should be using a payroll service for that. And if I should be, is that money supposed to be double taxed or is it not because it's already been taxed on the LLC side?
That's a very good question. So first off, that's a double-edged sword. So the first part of that question is, how many employees do you have? Is it just yourself?
Yeah, it's just me.
Okay. So you don't have to use a payroll service because it's just you. Unless, let me ask you, do you have any children? Do you have a baby mama?
No kids, no baby mama, none of that.
Okay, well then you're fine then. You don't have any liability, so you're good. So the best thing for you to do is to pay yourself as a 1099 employee. Pay yourself as a 1099 employee so that way you don't have to worry about having to pay a payroll service, as well as you don't have to worry about having to hold back income tax from yourself. Because if you are the business owner, then you have to hold back a percentage of taxes for employee tax. But when you hire an independent contractor, which would be yourself, so what you want to do is, let's say for instance, it's Phoenix Enterprise. Phoenix Enterprise. And what's your name again, man? What's your real name? Tyreek. So Phoenix Enterprise is the name of the company, and Phoenix Enterprise has a contract with Tyreek, and Tyreek is a 1099 employee. And so because you're a 1099 employee, you don't have to worry about being double. You don't have to worry about quote unquote double tax. And when you are when you do W-2, it's not really double taxing. It's just they're holding your money. So you have to set aside certain funds for payroll tax when you do that. So because it's just yourself, you're fine. I would not encourage. The only reason why I told him, look at me, people. The only reason why I told that to Trevor, to Tyreek, is because Tyreek does not have child support and baby mama drama. This is not universal for all people. If he would have said something different, I would have told him something different. Because people would say, well, Dean said somebody has 6 baby mamas and they'll end up having 20 employees. But Dean said I could just 1099. That ain't everybody. That's specifically for him.
He did what he was supposed to do and didn't have 17 children.
Not only that,
they don't try to get them out me though.
Yeah, they have.
Now listen, Tyreek. Now I'm calling him Tyreek. Gold Phoenix. Did you have another question for him? We got someone else in the line that's going to ask him a question.
No, that was the only question I had. I really do appreciate that.
Hey,
Thanks,
no
boss.
problem.
I appreciate you, man.
I dropped the link for you to get the one-on-one coaching through Dean in the chat. Stay in the queue. You know how it works. If you need something, hit the private chat.
So it's
Okay,
2 of them. So TB, I just sent you the link for the startup coaching where people can go through and go at their own pace and go through the startup coaching. And then I sent you the link for people that want to go through and get a one-on-one session with me. So
All right, I posted that one as well. The next person, of course, he wants to call in after Dean buys the room out. Like I said, Dean paid $400 to buy the room out. That's the going rate for buying the room out. And just to let you call in for free and ask him a question. Do not miss out on this. Now, this person's name is Sir Messington. He's a friend of the room. His real name is Curtis. Don't let the name fool you.
okay.
He has an off-the-wall question usually. Curtis.
Now these introductions of yours is getting real spicy as of late. But thank you for buying the room out, Dean. And I do want to make the caveat. You know, I don't do the Cash App thing. I told you I'm all PayPal, so I definitely PayPal you. Yeah, yeah, I got you. Nonetheless, my question was because me and Dean had spoke about a week or so ago, I think, and you gave me some specific instructions as to how to conduct the business that we discussed. So my question was going back to that because this information was applied specifically to me. Yes. But you told me to start to change my direct deposit information to my business account to start putting money in there and then withdraw that money in there to take care of my own personal my own personal expenses. Yes. So with that, and I think I asked you a while back, you know, is taxes something that I should be worried about? And you were like, if my business essentially hasn't made $20,000 or more in income, then that's not something that I should be concerned with.
That's correct.
Is that correct to my recollection?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay. So with that, how does that, I know that's looking well as far as me flushing money into my business account, and it's looking like, you know, my business is basically making money. But how do I insulate myself on that as far as like, again, avoiding the whole double taxing situation? Because the only money that's coming into that, account has already been taxed. So that's just the net amount from what I've earned.
Yep, that's a very good question. So to add a little backdrop, well, first I'm gonna answer your question, and then I want to add some backdrop for the people that's listening. So the thing is, you are going, when the time comes for you to do your taxes, you have me as your coach and mentor. So when we do them, we're going to do them together. And when you do your taxes, your income tax for your business is you're not going to show that full amount because of deductions, because of legal business deductions. So for instance, remember how you pay for your business address, and you pay for your business phone number, and you pay for your business your website, business website. All of that comes out of your business account, as well as you and I, within the next 5 months, you will get a new piece of equipment in your business name. And it's going to be business funding. So by the time, let's say for instance, you make 100,000 that is coming in, by the time that we get you to that funding level, then you aren't going to have to pay taxes on all of that, because one, the amount of time that it took for you to get there when it comes to doing this strategy that you and I talked about privately, and also
Right.
two, because of the deductions and the itemization of the depreciation of the equipment that you're getting in your business name. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I appreciate the way that you coded it.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most def. I got you though. So like I said,
Now,
I'm
one
go
thing
ahead.
I will say for the people that's listening, you and I have been going back and forth for the past 5 or 6 months. You've been a client of mine, and we are
No, it's been no, it's been longer than that. I think it'll be a year in August.
okay, yeah, a year in August, and we got a setback because of COVID, and we also got a setback because of staff changes in my organization. But yet and still, I want to thank you for having patience with us as we have. But you have legitimately gotten your corporation, you have legitimately built out your business, and you have gotten coaching and consulting. And when you call the number, you do get people. Sometimes it takes a time to get back around, but yet and still, you can testify that we are a legitimate business, that we do what we say we're going to do. It took a little longer because of COVID, and we're getting back on track with that. But you can attest that this is all legitimate. Is
Yeah,
that correct?
definitely ain't no scams going on this way for sure.
So, Curtis, if
Hear me? Why you say my name like that? Because I know some BS is about to come behind it. Go ahead.
I see you're doing business coaching on the low, on the side. That's good. You put your money together. You're doing what you're supposed to do.
I'm just trying to do better.
You're just trying to do that. Now, before I boot you out, which I'm about to do, make sure you tell people where you heard it first at the Diggy Down Brown channel. I'll see you later on Patreon, because Sir Messington is a Patreon person. And we're going to get it up with Dean, where I'm trying to get Dean back on the horse where we can do this once a week.
Yes.
Dean, once a week. What day are you thinking?
Jesus Christ. Mondays is my off day at the restaurant. Tuesdays might be the best day because it's kind of slow. Wednesdays is ladies' night at the restaurant and ladies drink free. Ladies drink free on Wednesdays. Thursdays we either do karaoke, we do live events. Fridays it's a party. Sunday is family day, so Saturday is this. So I think if we did them on Tuesdays would be the best days. Tuesdays would be the best days to where I can stay in the office later, because I forget you West Coast time. I be calling you. I realized I was like TV. I just woke up. I just opened my eyes. I was like, oh snap! I forget your West Coast time.
That's how it.
And we're still East Coast time.
All right, we'll figure out. We'll just call it Tuesday. We'll just have a phone meeting before to see how your day's going Tuesday, and we'll try to do it Tuesday.
We can do it on Tuesdays, yes, sir.
All right, real quick. Please don't come with no dumb questions. Vernon.
Yeah. Hey, how you doing?
What's going on, Vernon?
I kind of got a question for both. Yeah. I kind of got a question for both. I've been at my job for like 5 years.
You're breaking up, Vernon. You're gonna have to call back, buddy. Your signal's terrible. Anthony, what's going on? What's your question for Dean?
Yeah, how you doing, Dean and TB?
Doing all right.
What's going on, Anthony? How you feeling, boss?
I'm doing pretty good. I wanted to get more in depth in the question that you asked the person before when you said, because I was thinking about hiring a service where I get a payroll, but I'm the only person on there, and you said that we don't have to do that because I'm my own employee. So I wanted to know what would be the reason why I would have to hire somebody to do my payroll taxes, or I mean not payroll, but
To do a payroll service?
Yeah, payroll
That's
service.
a very good question. The only reason why I would suggest that somebody, if you are an owner operator and you're your own employee, the only reason why I would suggest somebody to do that is if they have a baby mama, not a wife, but you have a baby mama and you have child support, and you need to protect your assets against the child support system. That's the only reason why it's beneficial for you to do it. It's worth it in the long term. Because what happens is, go ahead.
I have a baby mama and she take child support, so that was kind of the reason why I wanted to know. Because
yes. So what you would want to do is you want to protect your trucking business and your trucking assets, because in family law, this is the crazy thing, right? Out of all the law, out of practicing of all the law, every single law, every last one of them understands the corporate veil, and you're protected by the corporate veil out of all of them except family law. And what will happen is that the judge or the judicial officer and or the attorney has the right to set aside the corporate veil and give you something that's called imputed income. And imputed income is that's income based on what you should pay because of your lifestyle, because your children's lifestyle is affected by your lifestyle. So that being said, whenever you are a business owner and you have a baby mama and you're dealing with a baby mother, and you have to, if she ever has to go through the child support, if you ever have to go through child support in a private or public setting, then if y'all just can't sit down and talk, you need to protect yourself, because they will hang you out to dry. Because what they'll do is they will look at all the income that come in. They don't care nothing about no lumpers. They don't care nothing about no tolls. They don't care nothing about no IFTA taxes. They don't care nothing about no fuel. They don't care nothing about no diesel. They don't care nothing about none of that. They don't care nothing about no tire blowouts. They don't care nothing about none of that. All they see is, ooh, $3,000 a week. Ooh, $4,000 a week. So then what they'll do is they could impute your income to show that that's your actual income, when in actuality, that's not your income, because of all those things you have to pay. So to protect yourself, it's good if you make yourself a W-2 employee of the company and the corporation, because if you are a W-2 employee of that company and the corporation, now your baby mama don't have no business to do with your trucking or anything like that. The only thing that she has access to is your personal account. The only thing that she has access to that she can touch is your personal service. And when you set yourself up as with a payroll provider and a payroll company, it's set up automatically to where you're able to have documentation that will stand up in court, which will be like ADP, and you have pay stubs to where you can physically go and they will accept that, and you're protected your assets and protected yourself. Because unfortunately, the court system is not designed for successful men when it comes to family law. It's all for women. So that's why you need to make sure you protect yourself and protect your assets.
Yeah, that's good. And I one thing I want to say, I never knew, well, if the way you name your company is something you can, it's something you said about what you name your company about getting business loans. I never knew that.
Yes, sir. So what happens is that, and the only reason why I know it is because I worked at the banks. So this is the thing, like people say, oh man, it's impossible for a black man to get a loan, man. They discriminate against me. It doesn't matter the color of your skin. It only matters the content of your business character. So if you name your business something that is descript, then the underwriter can do that. So the job of an underwriter is to assess risk. And when you have a business that's a high risk industry or a high risk business, then they're going to make it more difficult for you because the underwriter is doing their job. An underwriter's job is to minimize risk for the bank. So if, like for instance, the top 3 most high risk industry is transportation, real estate investing, and adult industry. So if you name your business, what TB always say? He called it sweet meat. What TB be saying? What do he call it? He called it what you be calling it? He said the sessions you need to have twice. What they call? What you call them?
Sashmo.
Okay. Sashmo would actually be a real good because I ain't never heard that before besides you. So Sashmo Incorporated would be very good instead of Foxy Lady Adult Club. You see what I'm saying? Or let's say for instance, Sashmo Enterprises will be so much better than Foxy Lady Transportation or Trucking, or Foxy Lady Real Estate Investments. Because what happens is that,
real estate.
Yeah, because what happens is that's why most very, very successful businesses, like they're go by things like Procter and Gamble. Like if you don't live in the United States of America, like I live out here in the Dominican Republic, and I say Procter and Gamble, most people won't know what Procter and Gamble is. And if you're in the trucking industry, you know because you probably pull their freight. But Procter and Gamble is a beautiful holding company that owns half of the Colgate and Johnson & Johnson baby stuff and different products along those lines. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So another one would be like General Mills. Like nobody knows what General Mills is but you know, General Mills also, and this is the reason why they have these holding companies, because food services is considered high risk as well, because people have food allergies. So General Mills is very good, but everybody knows about Fruity Pebbles and Trick cereal and all the other stuff, but it's all a General Mills corporation. So even though people say this, we say it all the time, and we've just been desensitized to it because of commercials. But from a business structure standpoint, they're actually showing you the model of success. That's the reason why I always talk about creating a holding company, because once you create a holding company, that holding company now that holding company is the one that has everything and is protected by everything. Like one of the best example that I could find that I absolutely love is I love Rick Ross. I love Rick Ross, not just because he's an Aquarius and he got a nice beard and he's black.
He's hot.
You know what I'm saying? But he's just a smart businessman. And like, for instance, all of his franchises, like is all under Rich Forever Incorporated. And most of the people, and you don't know what Rich Forever does, but Rich Forever owns Wingstops, it owns Checkers, it owns a lot of his real estate businesses that he has, because it's nondescript for the type of business. And his baby mom gets so upset and angry about it because his assets are protected, because everything is funneled through Rich Forever. So like this is how I look at it. The way that the woman gets over on the man is going through family court. The way the man gets over on the woman is going through asset protection through business. So that's how you got to make sure you protect yourself in those different ways. That's my 2 cents on it.
Bars. All right. Next person calling in is 1011 Trucking LLC. Erica, do you have a question for Money Green Bean?
I do. Hello, Mr. Cole. How are you?
I am winning. How are you doing?
I am doing the same. Thank you. Quick question about business funding. So my husband and I are an LLC. We're a partnership. We did the whole payroll thing, but because we're a partnership, I think we're going to end up getting dinged for that because we're not an S Corp. But we set up like accounts with the business trade lines so that we can potentially put ourselves in a position to acquire actual business credit, i.e. credit card and so forth. How long does it typically take once those trade lines have been set up and, Dun & Bradstreet is all complete and we're seeing credit reporting on that level? how long does it typically take before they no longer look at your personal credit and start to look at the business credit?
That's a very good question. So it depends on what the goal is. You're asking, how long does it take for them to start looking at your business credit for the purposes of what? Purchasing equipment, purchasing a home, or getting company credit cards? So what specifically?
Well, specifically,
Because the reason why I'm asking is because those are 3 different tiers.
exactly. And so I was thinking the first tier would be the business credit card. And once we
Okay.
get proof of the business credit card, then we will put ourselves in a position of leverage where we can now acquire equipment. And so we're not trying to go balls to the walls right now and acquire a bunch of trucks, but we do want to set ourselves up where we can put ourselves in that position sooner rather than later.
Okay, that's a very good question. So basically, for everybody that's watching, there is different tiers to credit. Okay, there's different levels. A lot of people say there's levels to this ish. There's levels to unlocking certain doors. So it's kind of like, you remember the Legends of Zelda video game TV?
Yes, I do.
That's one of my favorite video games. Or better yet, like your girl, she plays the scary games, right?
Right.
And so she has to get through certain things and unlock certain things to get to the next level, right?
Right. True.
That's the exact same way credit and financing and funding works. So to answer the question, it's not a time limit. It is a checklist that you need. That's the reason why what we do is we teach you step by step how to unlock the next level. So the first level that she mentioned are things like a net 30 account, or these are lines of credit where you're able to get from stores. So in order to get that, you need to have your EIN number, your LLC. I just say your corporate documentation. You need to have your business checking account, and you need to have a DUNS number. Those are the top 4 things that's needed in order for you to start to build business credit. And that literally takes a week to get. An EIN number you get immediately. Your corporate documentation, whether you choose an LLC or S Corp, it takes 7 days to process. Your business bank account, you get that the exact same day. You walk into the bank with the first 2 things that I mentioned, and then your DUNS number you get the exact same day if you do it the right way. So once you have those 4 things, like I said, it normally takes around 7 to 10 days to get done. Then you're able to go and apply for the first tier of funding, which are things like store accounts, net 30 accounts. And net 30 accounts means that they're going to give you a line of credit that you can use, but you have to pay it back within 30 days. So it doesn't matter if you have a bankruptcy. It doesn't matter if you have your credit so bad the FBI looking for you. You could have a 150 credit score. With those 4 things, you can go to certain places and get lines of credit that they don't look at anything but those 4 things. And then you have to acquire those lines of credit. That's tier 1. Then we're talking about tier 2. Tier 2 is actually, surprisingly enough, you can get equipment financing in tier 2. So what tier 2 does is tier 2 has those same criteria that we talked about before, but now there's another criteria that's added, is you have to have an 80 paydex score. An 80 paydex score means that you have 4 net 30 accounts that you have paid more than $55 to, and you've paid on time. And once you've done that, you now are able to incorporate, you have what's called an 80 paydex score. And then you have to be in business for at least 3 months with the Secretary of State, and have your business checking account open for at least 3 months. Ideally, you want to have anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 being deposited into your business account. And once you have those things, now you can qualify for equipment funding, and you qualify for tier 2 funding, which are some company credit cards, as well as some credit union lines of credit and equipment funding. Then once you get to the next tier of funding is when you're able to have 10 accounts reporting to Dun & Bradstreet. You have 1 account with at least a $2,000 limit. you've been in business for at least 6 to 12 months, and you have an 80 paydex score. Now we're talking about other larger lines of credit. We're talking about larger credit cards. We're talking about larger fleet things such as a company car, because that's considered under a fleet. So when you go, like say for instance, if you go to Chrysler Dodge, I like Chrysler Dodge, or you go to Ford. Ford is a good one because they just throw away trucks. Ford is a real good one. So say for instance, you want an F-250, or you want, better yet, prime example, you want a dually. You want a dually. You can get equipment funding and get a dually once you've been in business for 6 months. You have anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 being deposited into your account, as well as if you have an 80 paydex score and you have at least four things reported to Dun & Bradstreet, and with a $2,000 limit, you can then go and get a dually so that you can hotshot, and you can get that in your company's name, and you can start pulling that. Or if you just want a regular F-150, you can get an F-150 and use it as a company car, or get a used Lexus or used Benz that you purchased from the Ford dealership through the Ford fleet manager, and it's in your business name, and they don't look at your personal credit at all.
Outstanding. So much.
You're so very, very welcome. Does that answer your question?
It does, and we actually have a lot of those things already. Paydex store core. I mean,
that's perfect.
Already. So I just wanted, like, we've tried to apply for business credit through like American Express, but they seem to always revert to doing a personal inquiry, and I just didn't want that because we're in the process of trying to increase our credit scores as well. So
let me ask you this: so you're going to American Express. Have you tried any Visa or Discover or Chase Bank or credit unions? Because American Express is the cream of the crop.
Yes, we have. I tried JP Morgan Chase. They declined us. I think that was really the only other one. Capital One.
See, because you go so it's like, you going to the top. You got to build your way from the bottom to the top.
But that's all I know how to do.
Okay, there's so many other different company cards that build your way up. So I'm gonna tell you this. Now, you being a female, you can tell me if I'm lying or not, right? Let me. Now, you said that you've been married. How long you been married?
This time, almost 3 years.
3 years. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, for women, not all women, but 90% of women, a lot of times y'all like to know who we dated before in our past. And a lot of times women will judge a man based off of who their ex is. They say, you dated her? Ew.
Yeah, I'm not like that. I'm almost 50. I don't play those kind of games.
But some of your nieces and some of these little hot girls, they do that, right?
Yeah, I do agree with you. Some women do, but not all of us have that philosophy.
Okay. So that's the same way credit is given. There's something that's called credit worthiness.
Yes.
And see, this is the thing. These are the things that the only reason why I know this is because I worked in the banks, and that's what I teach in my course. But so many times we don't understand why we're being quote unquote discriminated against, and we think it's something illegal, but it's not. It's all legal things. So what happens is that on your credit profile, there's something that's called credit worthiness, and they determine your credit worthiness based on who you already have on your credit profile. So you don't want to become red flagged as a high risk borrower because you don't have the proper foundation. So that being said, what happened is that if you have a line of credit on your credit report for $2,000, then that means that when you apply for a business line of credit for $5,000, they will approve you. But one of the underwriting criteria is you need to have $2,000 first. But if you don't have one that's reporting for $2,000, then they won't give you $5,000. You can't go from 0 to $5,000 in a lot of cases. In most cases, there are some situations where if you go to a credit union and you get a checking account line of credit or you get a working capital line of credit versus a credit card, these are different things. So that's the reason why, like in my online course, I teach the differences of your different credit type and your credit mix so that you'll know how to unlock the next level, because it's like a puzzle. And that's why I teach all the rules to the puzzle so that you can just go through. And if you don't, so that's why it's not a time requirement. It is a achievement requirement that allows you to unlock the next level. So like, I would never tell you to go to Chase or never tell you to go to American Express first. I would have told you to go through some local credit unions, and then also told you to go through Discover and go through Visa first before you went to those other type of institutions, because those other type of institutions will give you things that are considered like starter accounts, so that once they're there and you have that criteria, then you're going to be approved once you meet those criteria. So if you want to schedule a one-on-one session, because you might not need to go through my course because you have a lot of stuff already, you just need some one-on-one coaching. You could just do some one-on-one coaching. TB, drop the link in the comments below. And then that way we can figure out, and I can actually pull up your credit profile through the banks and look at what the banks see and look at your profile to see how you're set up, to see exactly how you stand up against underwriting guidelines, and then tell you, go to this company, go to that company, go to this bank, go to that institution. So that way we can get you to where you need to go.
All right. So we definitely pulled the website up. We've been looking at it for a little while. We will definitely sign up for that one-on-one consultation. Or it'll be 2-on-1 because it'll be Greg and I. That's okay.
That's fine.
And last question is, do you have affiliate marketing opportunity on your website?
That's a very good question. See, now you all over the place. I want you to focus 100%. I want you to focus 100% on building your primary business and building your primary dream. Focus on that. Okay. But no, we don't offer affiliate marketing. Okay. I might in the future, but no, I don't offer any affiliate marketing, because sometimes when you deal with affiliates, they I've had bad experience with that personality type, and I just leave it like that.
Gotcha. Would you mind if we listed you on our website as a helpful resource on our?
No, I would not mind at all. Absolutely, no, not at all. I would not mind at all.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Cole. We appreciate you.
You're so very welcome.
All right.
Hey,
hey, sister-in-law.
What's going on? No, I was just running the show background while.
I got a question. When you gonna start teaching these women how to be good women in 2021? I need for you to stop playing so many scary games and start teaching these women how to be good women and how they can get and keep a good high value man and keep them happy in their home.
Why are you putting me on the spot like that, Dean?
When you gonna start teaching these women how to be good women?
Well, I see that my practices have traveled over to Dominican Republic, because I see she's serving you breakfast, coffee.
Oh no. No, that's not. No, that's not.
Desayuno, huh?
No, that's one of my employees, one of my assistants. No.
Okay.
See, I gotta pay for it. I gotta pay for it. I don't have nobody doing it out of the kindness of their heart.
Oh, okay. That's soon though. I'm sure that's not an easy thing. I'm sure that's something you could tackle. You better cut it out. Saturday morning already. I just appreciate you. Like it's weird being on this side, like being in TB's world, Sean's world.
Yeah.
And I always appreciate your interaction, your contribution, your just love. You have love that transcends the universe. Like, you could be here, you could be in Paris, you can be in New Zealand, Newfoundland, no matter where Dean is, Dean makes sure he always sends the positive love and vibes, and that keeps TV going. So
thank you. I appreciate that. Folks don't realize that we're friends in real life. Like, we just text each other all the time. Like, we just checking on you, mental health check, see how you doing.
Yeah.
And I will say this. I am not the best person to be friends with, because I get so tunnel vision.
Yeah.
And I'm the type of person where if I didn't cuss you out, I didn't say nothing bad to you, just because I hadn't talked to you in 4 or 5 weeks. It doesn't mean that there's beef. It just means that I got busy. And TV is kind of the same way. And that's how come it can be like we just finished talking yesterday. And sometimes it's months since we talked. And what happens is that kind of helps me to remind myself to keep checking on him, making sure he's doing good, just kind of cultivate that relationship. And another thing that I think that helps TB and I is that we're both so ambitious and we both are always striving after something. So I'm happy and proud for him to see him excelling and putting in energy to get to this level. And he does the same thing with me. So that way we rooting for each other, even though we hadn't talked to each other. We see, okay, boom, he working on it. So I'm proud of it. And then sometimes if he see me slacking off, or if I see him slacking off, we'll be like, hey, what's going on? I see you doing good. And then I see you slowing down. And how's everything going with that? So that's why I will attest it to that. That's why how we just we got the same type of personality trait that he and I be good friends. So TB, I was asking sister-in-law when she gonna start teaching these women how to be good women and how to keep good men in their life.
Well, I mean, they don't, the truth is a lot of people don't want to work on themselves. And I'm a person that believes that self-preservation is the reason behind being radiant. It doesn't, I'm not here I almost have like the Queen Mother Shabazz approach. Like I've given people or talked to people individually or collectively. I've used my platform and stuff. But what matters most to me is seeing TB smile. What matters most to me is my household. What matters most to me is, my happiness. So, women in particularly, they rather follow, they have the Pied Piper motion. So they rather follow who's trendy, who appears to have it all, but they're not really willing to follow what their foremothers have done, what their predecessors have done. Who've shown the proof into how to maintain a household or how to be a good woman and stuff, because they think that it's outdated information. But technically, there's nothing new under the sun. History repeats itself. People don't morph that, or should I say, they don't evolve as quickly as they think they do. iPhones do, but not people.
Not people.
So, but yeah, I'm gonna let you guys get back to your show. I made TP breakfast because I felt like, wait a minute, I can make him some breakfast too now. So I made
that's what I'm talking about. That's good.
I did. I'll talk to you off camera, of course.
We'll talk offline.
Absolutely, brother-in-law.
That's my sister-in-law right now. So let's look at these. Let's look and see how we're doing with these interaction with this. We got 132 people watching on Trucker Brown live. We only have 87 thumbs up and we have 6 thumbs down. I need y'all to get those thumbs up going, man. I need to stop hating. Stop spectating, being participating. Everybody hit that like button. Let's see what some of these comments say.
Vernon, I got you. I'm gonna pull you in right after Dean's done.
Let's see what some of these comments say. Yeah, bro, you gotta do some sessions with sister-in-law so she can teach these women how to be good women out here. These modern women how to be out here in these streets. These modern women so they can learn how to get a traditional household, a traditional man that will work and provide for her and make sure that she's all right and taken care of while she takes care of you.
I don't think my old lady really likes to do it that often. You gotta have thick
skin to teach people the truth, to talk truth to power. You got
truth is people are just not like you just because you're saying something different. So it's like number one is the best thing is her actual her health and happiness. Vernon.
Hold on, Bashir says old school loving. Absolutely, old school loving.
Vernon, you said you had a question for Dean.
Yeah, yes, sir. How y'all doing? I just had a question. I'm thinking about leaving my job that I've been there for the last 5 years to go try to start a company with a friend of mine, teaming. And I just wanted to know what are your thoughts on that, and how should we set up the company, et cetera, et cetera.
That's a very good question.
I'm
Go
gonna
ahead, TB.
say my view real quick, and this is just my view. This is not me telling you what to do. I think the friend in business thing is very, it's a big minefield, and there's unicorns that can do it. You need to make sure you're one of those people that can deal with it, because what happens when you're doing business with friends, one of you are doing it as a friend and the other one is doing real business.
Mm-hmm.
So you may think one of the actions that they do is cutthroat, and actually they're just doing the best business thing for their situation, because you're looking at it as, oh, this is my friend. If you're going to go into business with them, you need to know how to separate the friend and the business. Me and Dean does this very well. He knows that, how the channel is supported is through Cash App. So when he says, oh, this is going to be free to call in, he puts in to the pot for y'all to call in for free, because he knows on one hand, this is my homeboy, but on the other hand, this is a business. So you have to weigh it out. Now, what will happen is some people will woo you to death with friendship and then switch the paperwork on you. And then you'll be looking like, hey, we friends. And they'll say, no, this is business. See, so you gotta know how to gauge that before you go into business with a friend. That's my Go ahead. You up.
I agree with what TB said 100%. So that being said, tell me a little bit more about the backstory between you. You said you've been working for a company for 5 years. Are you working as a driver, or what is it that you've been doing for the past 5 years?
Yeah, working kind of locally as a driver. I just kind of ready for a move. I kind of really want to be more into the entrepreneurship side of things rather than just a company driver. I just thought it would be a good idea, because me and my boy, we kind of want the same things, and I thought that it would kind of be easier. We maybe could even make more money together than apart. But what TB said, I think is very accurate, and that's something I definitely got to think about. But I know for sure I want to leave my job. I'm just not sure how to go about it or what I should do.
That's good. Okay. So tell me a little bit more. So you said your friend, how long have you known this guy?
Since about 2007.
2007. Okay. And you guys, did he approach you or did you approach him?
It was pretty mutual, honestly. It was just a conversation, and we both just kind of brought it up.
Okay. All right. So you guys want to go directly into teaming?
Yeah, I guess like that's the only thing that I really could come up with. Like we came up with that teaming would be best.
Okay. This is my advice. I think that there are some, you have to pick your business partners based on strengths. It's always good to see what a person is able to bring to the table, because sometimes people just come to the table with a hungry stomach and a fork. That's all they have. And if they don't have any assets or anything to add to it, it can end up messing things up. I'm gonna give you an example where I was working on a loan, like matter of fact, 2 weeks ago. These company, they were depositing about $20,000 per month into the business account. It's 3 guys, 3 of them. 2 of them are in the truck. The other guy is not in the truck. He's more of a finance guy. And we were in the process of getting the loan done, and they sent over their bank statements, and the 2 guys in the truck altered the bank statements. And the guy that's the finance guy, me and him going back and forth, he was like, I can't believe they did that. And they end up kind of messing him up, and he didn't get any charges for fraud, thank God. But the reason why he didn't is because our underwriter stopped it, and they wouldn't approve the loan. And we couldn't figure out for the life of us, why in the world these loans not getting approved? Like everything is on point. What's going on? And it was because the bank statements was fraudulent. So I said all that to say, you have to know your people 100% when you're doing partnerships. I think that it's good to do partnerships with people who, like I said, have some skin in the game and that can be more of an asset, and they both have the same amount to lose. So for the other two guys, it didn't matter to them that they were messing up with bank statements because they were just in the truck. It didn't matter to him, but it mattered. I mean, it mattered to them, but it mattered to the finance guy because now he got considered, he got listed as a high risk lender to almost 7 banks that will never touch him and never do business with him ever again for the rest of his life. So I said all of that to say, kind of be careful, like what TV said. So my advice to you, if you are a company driver, what you need to do right now is put together a goal of when you're going to leave. You need to put together a due date. Whenever a woman is pregnant with a child, the doctor says you're due this day. You have to give yourself a due date, because if you don't give yourself a due date, you're going to look up and it's going to be 7 years. It's going to be 9 years. It's going to be 10 years. So the very first thing you have to do is be serious about it and say, I'm going to leave and I'm going to do this on this day. That's the very first thing. As a mentor and coach, that's what I want to encourage you to do. Second thing that I want to encourage you to do is to believe that you can do it, because if you're a company driver, the only difference is that you just might need a little help with some of the back end work, for some of the paperwork, in order for you to be an owner operator and get your own truck. I don't suggest that you get your own authority starting out. I strongly suggest that you lease underneath somebody else's authority, and I suggest that you start building your business, start building business credit immediately. You want to build your business right now. What you want to do is you want to create it as if it's a holding company. Now, you can legally get up to $250,000 as a business, as a startup, as a holding company. And that's what I was talking to TB about. Actually, I'm going to start a brand new course that teaches people how to start and get up to $250,000 in funding so that they can do business internationally around the world. Because I'm in the Dominican Republic and people always ask, like, how were you able to get your restaurant, like you got it and everything else? Besides my consulting and coaching, which I've been doing for years, but the restaurant specifically, people want to know, like, how are you able to do that so quickly? You know what I'm saying? Like I did it in 8 months, and they want to know how I'm able to do it. So I'm going to teach a course, but it teaches you how to get any type of business you want. But I said all of that to say, let's break it back down and dumb it down to just the basic level for you. Is you want to immediately on Monday get an EIN number. You're not violating any type of non-compete agreement. You can be a company driver and on paper build a business. You're building the business on paper so that it'll make it easier for you to get equipment. It'll make it easier for you to get fuel cards, to make it easier for you to get some emergency accounts with Firestone and Jiffy Lube and Meineke and Mako. All of these are first and second tier level of funding that you're able to get 3 months after your business has been created. So that's the reason why I say pick a due date. My advice is your due date should be anywhere from 6 to 12 months. And starting right now, you can start building a legitimate business, even though you are working company. As long as you don't take any of their carriers, or you don't try to approach them, you're not violating any non-compete agreement. You're able to work your regular job as a company driver, build your business credit. So when you walk away from your job, how much money do you have saved up?
To be honest with you, I don't have much. I'm just being real with you.
No. Be specific with me. Don't be real with me. Be specific with me. How much money do you have saved up?
I would say less than $5,000.
Less than $5,000? That's considered substantial for some people. How much money do you have saved in your account? You're talking to a business coach that's giving you some advice. $2,389, $4,000, $1,000. Like, how much do you have? I'm asking for a reason.
Oh, exact number, or like $3,000, like $3,200.
$3,200. Okay. So because you have $3,200 saved in an account, that's good. My advice to you will be, how long did it take you to save that up? How much are you able to save on a monthly basis?
Right now, probably like $600
a week, $600 a month.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So my advice to you is when you get to $10,000 saved into your account, what you want to do is you want to do 2 separate deposits. The very first thing you want to do is tomorrow, not tomorrow, just say Monday. I'm always action oriented. Monday, go to IRS, get you you get your EIN number. Second thing is whether you want to hire me or go through my course or hire an attorney, whichever you choose to do, create a LLC. After you create your LLC, you want to get your business checking account. Once you get your business checking account, what you're going to do is you're going to take half of that $3,200 and you're going to put half of it into the business account. The other half you're going to leave into your personal account. And then what you're going to do is you're going to start saving every single month. And every stitch of money that you get, instead of using your savings account, you're now going to start putting it into your business account. Once you have at least $10,000 saved up, at the same time when you're doing that, I suggest that you work on building your business credit. So start going through the first tiers of funding so that you can have $10,000 cash in your business account. Then you'll be able to have a $5,000 line of credit for fuel. Then you can have a $20,000 line of credit for maintenance, as well as a $20,000 line of credit for tires. And then we can talk about getting you into your first truck. I suggest you get an older truck. I don't suggest that you get something new, but I suggest that you get an older truck and you get something that you can afford on a good monthly or weekly payment and go from there. Do you know what company you want to go through? Do you want to hire get contracted under?
I was thinking about a company called Bar None. I'm not sure if you heard of that.
I never heard of them before. They're not a major carrier in my eye. I don't know. TB, you know anything about Bar None?
No, I haven't heard much about that. But if he was in the Patreon, I'm sure one of the panelists would be able to talk to him about that. I've never heard of them.
Okay.
As far as how freight is a fickle thing. So like I said, the Patreon would definitely help you out because you could ask questions to people who are in partnerships right now that are in there. So that would help as well. My main thing with you is just understand that self-preservation is important in this situation, and look at every single thing that y'all are about to do, and you have to assess, is this good for me to do it? Because I guarantee you the person on the other side, friend or not, is doing the same thing. So just make sure because I've been broadsided and been like, dang, I was thinking this was like family. It's not that, dude. This is business. So you need to go into it as business. And if the person has a problem with you doing it as business, that's not the business partner to go to. But hold on, buddy. I got other people trying to ask questions. You can definitely hit the New Regime Patreon link, and we could definitely go to 18th degree about it. Okay, buddy?
All right, thank y'all.
Don't do drugs. 18 Tails.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You said you had a question for Dean?
Yeah. Wait. Yeah. All right. So Dean, long story short, I haven't filed my taxes since 2018 because I was like during that time I was going through rough path, not bought something stupid or whatever, and it's been 3 years. So my mom was telling me you need to get ahead of that because when the RS come, they're going to come. So I'm trying to figure out a way that I can file my taxes. I'm not sure if I should do it all together, just do it all together and then just get hit at once, or just because I have all right. So I have a mixture of W2
Hold on for a second. Wait. You're getting into some real important stuff. So I got to make sure I can hear you good.
Okay.
So let's slow it down.
All
go ahead. So you said you have a mixture of what now?
1099 and W2, where I was jumping from company to lease back and forth, trying to find my thing.
Okay. So let's talk about it. How you haven't done your taxes for 3 years,
right?
When you were 1099, did you set yourself up as a sole proprietor or did you set yourself up as a corporation?
Sole proprietor.
Okay. As a sole proprietor, did you make more than $20,000 a year for the times that you were company driving? Not company driving, I'm sorry. Did you make more than $20,000? Will you have income showing more than $20,000 in a W-9 from a company as a sole proprietor?
Like last year, I think I made like $45,000.
So all last year, all of 2020, you were 1099.
Yes.
At one company.
At this company called.
Okay. And so they have a W-9 saying that they paid you out that.
Yeah. Like all right. So like my.
Wait. I just want to make sure before we get into. I want to make sure. So all of last, because you said jumping around. So I want to know, were you jumping around by year or by months? So when you were getting paid as a sole proprietor, 1099.
All right. So 2020, I had stayed put at one place, and like I was 1099 like that whole year.
Okay. And
then like the year before, I have a mixture of 1099 and W-2. So from 2018 to 20, like I have like that mixture of of like 1099 and W-2, but like year 2020 is when like I just like stayed put and like I was just 1099 like that whole entire year.
Okay, that's good. Okay, cool. That helps me to understand. All right, and so your question is that you want to know how to. So what is it? So give me the question again.
All right. So how do I go about filing back taxes? Pretty much like so I can just get ahead.
Okay, got you. So this is my advice. So for you, because of your particular situation, my advice specifically for you is I suggest that you go to a large chain like a Jackson Hewitt or what's a good you don't want to go to a mom and pop tax shop. You want to go to a large chain like H&R Block. You want to go to someplace like that because they're able to specialize in convoluted taxes. Don't go to somebody's auntie. Don't go to somebody's mama. Don't go to nobody's cousin, nobody's baby mama. You want to go to a large chain because that large chain can do two things. One, it'll make it easy for them to pull your transcript from the IRS because you're going to have to, when you do multiple years, you're going to need a copy of your transcript from the IRS to see who filed W-9s on your behalf. So that's why you want to go there. Don't worry about the fees because they're going to take the fees on the back end. That's another reason why I suggest going to a big company because they'll take the fees on the back end versus taking it on the front end. The third thing is you don't have to be afraid of the IRS. You do not have to be afraid of the Internal Revenue Service. They are there to serve you. You don't have to be afraid of them. There is something that's called non-collectible status to where if you feel as if you can't afford to pay, they will take $5 a month or $10 a month or $20 a month to pay back. They're not going to come and take their house and your kids, and they're not going to do all of that stuff. The only reason why that type of stuff and put you in jail, the only reason why that happens is if somebody does go into a repayment plan and then default on the payment plan. And that's the stuff that folks don't tell you. They'll tell you, oh, I got a $100,000 tax bill. I was supposed to pay $25 a month, but I was too trifling and cheap to pay the $25 a month. So now they come in with a sledgehammer. They don't tell you the whole truth. They don't do those things until you get to that point of total that's why it's called evasion, because you've gone through the full process of evading them. But working with them, that's their job. And this is another thing too. Legally, if you owe a tax debt, after 10 years, legally, it wipes out. There's something called the year of Jubilee in the Bible, and that's something that the tax code actually adopts, the year of Jubilee, where after 10 years, it's wiped away. So that being said, you don't have to be afraid of the IRS. So don't be afraid of them, and don't think that they're going to say, "Oh, you got to pay us $5,000, and if you don't pay us tomorrow, you're going to jail." That's not how it's going to work. So ideally, if you do it the proper way, you're going to get some money back. Do you have any kids?
No.
Okay, so if you don't have any kids, that means you don't have to worry about child support, and you don't have to worry about those type of things. So that means that you're able to do other things by being considered head of household, and by you being a 1099 employee. Every single time you got your haircut, every single time you got your car washed, you got your truck washed, every single time you were on the clock and you ate a meal, all of that stuff is tax deductible. So even though it says that you made 40,000, there's a very good chance you only made 15. If you you see what I'm saying? So then you don't have to worry about that. So even though it said you have 40 to come in, if you do everything and you look at your bank statements, you say, "Oh, this is a tax deduction, that's a tax deduction, this is a tax deduction." Now, one thing though is you are a sole proprietor. So because you are a sole proprietor, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, but it doesn't mean that's impossible. It just means that for you to you'll be able to get a lot more tax credit being an LLC, INC, S Corp or C Corp.
Hold on. 18 Tails, I have the link for you to be able to call Dean. We have people waiting. But pretty much what he told you. Listen, another thing too, y'all have to realize too, Dean tells you what he can legally tell you because there are tax professionals. That's why his main thing is for you to go to a tax professional. So get that done. Another thing I suggest to you on the trucking side is you need to take a week off. A lot of the times we don't handle our stuff because we're running so hard, we don't feel we have the time. You need to force a week off and say, all this week, I'm going to keep dealing with the tax thing to get it taken care of before I leave out again. So please get that done. Raymond has been patiently waiting about 45 minutes.
Okay, this should be good.
Raymond, I know you've been waiting, bro. I appreciate you. Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Good afternoon, gentlemen. I'm currently driving, so please excuse the noise. I've heard in certain spaces that as a business person, it's important to have 3 people in your corner: a lawyer, a CPA, and a banker. Whenever you're starting your LLC, is this something that's important to have already locked down and established, or is that something that you develop and get into a relationship with as you're building your LLC?
That's a very good question. That's something that I believe that you should get along the way, and you should change often based on performance. The good thing about a business coach, we are a mixture between the two. So a business coach, we are a mixture between a banker and an attorney. So we're a mixture between the two because what we do is we specialize on helping you get the funding that you need. An attorney is going to make sure that you are legal, and we make sure business coaches make sure you're legal as well. Bankers, they're going to make sure that you can get the funding, but they're also going to tell you how to, they can only tell you as much as they are allowed to tell you based on the bank that they work for. But as a business coach, what we do is because we contract with multiple banks, we're able to help you get more out of more banks than just one. So to answer your question, yes, a CPA is good. And also we help you as a CPA because of such like the last 3 questions that we just asked, because we help people deal with their taxes and prepare their taxes or prepare their documentation in order to get funding. So that being said, to answer your question, yes, it is good for you to have these individuals in your circle. And also it's very important for you. I think that you should change them often based on performance and make sure that you get the best one for the task. When it comes to law, it depends on what you are physically going through with that attorney, because all law is not universal. You have certain attorneys that specialize in certain things. So because you have certain attorneys that specialize in certain things, you want to make sure that you get an attorney that is able to depending on what your task is. Does that make sense? Depending on what it is that you're going through, that you need that attorney for.
All right.
That's how that goes.
Okay, I understand. A quick follow-up question. You said to change out attorneys frequently based on performance. What exactly do you mean? Like, are they not performing up to task, or is there something else that you mean?
Yeah, so let me give you an example of what I mean by that.
Okay.
So,
quick thing, where you said you have to change them often. I've heard other business people say that as well. So thank you.
You're very welcome. So what I mean by that is it's based on performance because it's based on workload. And if you just become a number, and it's based on relationship, if you just become a number or you just become a client and they're not performing at the best, if you don't put them under review, if they're not giving you the best service, if you feel like they're showing up to do things and they're unprepared, they haven't invested the time into making sure that you get the best outcome, then you might want to change. And also, along your journey of entrepreneurship, you're going to meet people that are better at certain things. Like there's some people that are better when it comes to getting a certain tax code done, a certain tax law done. There's certain people that are better when it comes to getting certain loans done, and they might have access to certain lenders that the other person might not have. So that's the reason why that's the premise behind that. So you want to change them often, and you want to change it based on the needs to make sure that they're performing to the level that they need to perform it at.
Okay. Last follow-up question. Your mentorship that you provide, do you also have certain guidance into how to choose a CPA, lawyer, banker?
Yep, absolutely. So that's the thing about business coaching, is that's why a business coach is somebody there, because our job is to help you on all aspects of business. It's based on your location, based on your need, based on your business type and your business industry to be able to get that type of person. So that's how we help you to get there. That's the idea of a good coach.
Thank you. Awesome. So, Raymond, I thank you for calling in. We've held up Dean for 2 hours.
Yep, it's been 2 hours.
Yes, it's been 2 hours. Raymond is in the, if I'm not mistaken, you're in the Patreon. So we've seen you a few times. We're trying to get it to where Dean does this. He said Tuesday's the best day.
Tuesday is gonna be the best days for me.
So I'm gonna set that in stone with my lineup of shows that I'm about to come out with 3 other creators, and he's gonna get the Tuesday slot. If you're trying to figure out how to have a show on here, how Dean just did, which will definitely help you with your channel and help you with selling whatever product you have and people getting an understanding of who you are and what you do. Definitely hit me in the inbox and we will talk about that. Raymond, thank you so much.
Hey, thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
No problem. Real quick. Trevor, you need something before we go? Trevor.
Did I answer your question, Trevor, about setting up that umbrella corp?
I think Trevor is he was just listening because he just uses it. Listen, I guess I don't know if Trevor was going to ask about his OnlyFans because he said
Trevor got OnlyFans. Man, that's psyched out.
He said it got to be somebody like a fat white boy and make some money. Definitely, bro. Listen, I appreciate you for doing this. It's your re-entry to getting back on the horse. Can you give us a drop schedule of your channel or how much you're going to be dropping on the channel and everything?
Yes. So, as you guys can see, I'm eating my watermelon, drinking my water, and I still got my coffee. I don't care what y'all say. I need it. I am on my 100-pound weight loss journey. And so I'm doing a weekly vlog of my 100-pound weight loss journey, me in the gym, going through my day, doing like what I eat in a day, that type of stuff for people that are interested in that. Then also the restaurant. I go live from my restaurant as well as how I manage my multiple businesses. I own a restaurant in the Dominican Republic, the #1 restaurant and lounge in Puerto Plata. I am a business coach, a life coach, and I also own a premium cigar brand. So how I manage all of that, I'll be dropping a weekly vlog from that. Then I'm going to be going live, doing these lives. And I think on Tuesdays is going to be the best time to just do some live call-ins with TB and just focus on answering your questions and just making sure that I'm able to stay relevant to all of my audience and answer a lot of their live Q&As and whatnot. But it's going to be lives are going to be Tuesdays with TB. Then the other things are going to be my lifestyle, where people are able to see how I live my life. Like I had a meeting with one of the top resorts, and they brought us out, put us in a nice villa, gave us all these fancy foods, all that other cool stuff. I'm about to drop that tomorrow, so it's a real good time. Good time.
Listen, Tuesday I'm gonna be here for you every Tuesday. After that, I have maybe 2 other slots. So I have 2 slots still open. It's going to be a 5-day a week thing. Dean has Tuesday. If you're interested in the show deal, inbox me. I'll tell you exactly how to get it. The 2 other people I've not released yet. And we're going to have good conversations, man. Good, long conversations. Dean, I appreciate you taking 2 hours out of your day, because I know that's a long time for somebody.
I know, bro. I've been on my phone. That's why I'm trying to catch up right now. Like at the restaurant, like I just looked at the the cameras at the restaurant, and we booming right now. It's Saturday, and so we're doing really, really good. We're jumping right now at the restaurant. So I'm about to leave here and go to the restaurant, and all of that good stuff. But I appreciate you, TB. I wanted to be here for you, man, and thank you so much for being there and sharing your platform.
That's what I'm here for. Thanks for buying out the room, because as you seen, they wouldn't have called unless you did.
They weren't gonna call in. Yeah, that's how it works. But and all of y'all listen, all of y'all that are watching, make sure that you go to TB's Patreon. Subscribe to his Patreon, because there's going to be some private stuff that I'll be able to talk about behind the Patreon, because I'll be protected. There's a lot of stuff that I can't say and I won't say in the public settings, because people love to get folks like us caught up. I got so many videos on me being a liar, being a scammer, being a fraud, and I ain't never done none of those things. But people just love to try to find fault in people that's trying to do positive things. And especially in the financial space, they're so used to frauds, and they're so used to charlatans, that they're so used to people doing stuff wrong, that if you do this, if you look this way, you must be those things, which are not the case. So that's the reason why I don't play those games. If you hire me, I got you. If we're in a private setting like TB's Patreon, I got you. But a lot of that stuff, I protect myself, because I ain't got time to deal with these trolls.
Yeah, no time. Listen, man, don't do drugs. We're going to talk when we get out of here, y'all. Goodbye. We're outie. 5,000. You can only get it here because Dean is stingy about whose show he goes on.
That's a physics.
We'll talk about that. It is what it is. Exclusive stuff.